right in that $40 million range, you're going to get, you can get an older, maybe even an older Falcon.
Okay.
Falcon 2000.
Okay.
Which would definitely fulfill that mission.
Okay.
Citation-wise, maybe a larger Citation.
Yeah.
But if you want to be more conservative, you're moving down to a smaller Citation.
Yeah. I want to live large.
I know. Made it pretty clear.
Welcome to Own the Jet by Aspen Aero Group, where we share perspectives from some of the leading voices in private jet ownership and business aviation. I'm your host, Derek Savage, along with my co-host, Jason Spoor, president of Aspen Aero Group. Join us as we dive deep into the mechanics, mindset, and moments that define jet ownership. And together, we'll learn what it takes to own the jet. Welcome to a very special episode of Own the Jet. So this is part of a series where we're actually kind of mock going through the process of purchasing a jet. In the last episode of this, which you can check out on the link below, we talked about qualifying me as a buyer, right? What needs to be my situation in order to even think about owning a jet? And so we talked about that, some different scenarios, some different kind of like maybe prior to owning a jet wholly, I could get into this, whatever. But in this episode, Jason, you're going to walk me through the idea of, okay, now that I'm qualified, now that we have some like finances figured out, what should I buy? What should I get into? And so
Sure.
I'll give you some scenarios. How's
Please.
that sound?
Yes.
So let's set the stage, okay? I own a construction business, okay? We made, let's say, $15 million last year. Let's say I was able to clear 1.5, 2 million, something like that, right? In that range. And now as part of my construction business, let's say I build apartment buildings or something like that.
Sure.
And I've got to fly to different areas of the country in order to meet with people about this. And so I'm going from Chicago to Miami. And maybe every once in a while I'm flying from Chicago to Houston, right? And so that's kind of my flight plan, my mission. That's kind of my finances roughly. Mm-hmm. I want a Gulf Stream. Mm-hmm. And not one of those little Gulf Streams. I'm talking like I saw Tropic Thunder recently, and I heard the guy talking about a G5 to sell his friend out to the terrorists.
Right.
And I want one of the ones with the windows.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So, yeah.
That's what you want.
Hook me up, man. How do we get one of those?
You don't.
But I work hard, Jason. I just
I bet you do.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
why not?
Well, I mean, that airplane is going to be you're going to be calling me in a year saying, why did you sell me this?
Okay.
For a couple different reasons. One of them is probably going to be the maintenance on it. It's just going to be
what if it's a
handful.
What if it's something that maybe it was well maintained and maybe it's old?
Okay, let's just say it's well maintained.
Okay. It's
still going to be an airplane that's just outside of your reach. So what I'm going to come back and say is, let's come up with a plan to get you in a Gulfstream and develop a timeline to do that.
Okay.
And give you some milestones to hit.
Okay.
To make that happen.
So in the meantime, do I just go without?
No.
Or do I get into something else?
Yeah, we'll get you into something else.
Okay.
But,
okay.
a couple baby steps and then get you.
But I really want that Gulfstream.
I know. Yeah. No.
Made that clear.
Yeah. Again, I wouldn't be doing my job if I said, yeah, okay, let's go get it and get you financed and get you one.
Sure.
Because, it's a great airplane. Yeah. They make a great airplane. It'd be fun to own one. Mm-hmm. Who wouldn't want to have a Gulfstream? But I think that's something that, as far as where you are financially and what you are looking to do, it's not a good entry level airplane for you. Yeah.
Well, let me throw another one. Well, what do you got? Yeah,
but there's a path. There's a path to get there.
Okay.
And based on your company performance, your performance, it's totally doable.
What do I got to knock down next year? What do I got to do?
I don't know. You get into that $45 million range and let's start talking.
Okay. And then I might be able to make something happen.
Yeah.
So another idea, okay? Before you throw out any other suggestions, I was fortunate enough last year to tour a Falcon 7X.
Yeah.
I was extremely impressed with that airplane.
Yeah.
That had one of those like engines at the top.
Yeah.
With the intake.
3 of them. Yeah.
It's insane. Mm-hmm. You've seen them.
I have. So what you're saying is instead of a Gulfstream, you'd rather have a 7X.
Yeah. Is that more expensive or less expensive?
You're right in the same boat. You're actually probably more. So yeah, your initial cost is going to be higher.
Do I have champagne taste in a beer pocketbook here? What's going on?
You do.
Okay.
Again, obtainable. Totally achievable.
Okay.
Getting into that airplane is going to be a big pocketbook.
More than I can afford.
I would think so.
Would I need that? That's probably a better question.
No, that airplane you don't need for what the mission you said.
Where could I go with that if I had that?
Oh, you
could
go
I go
around
to
the world.
I could go to Europe. I could go
sure.
to,
That's totally an international airplane.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So again, just kind of put that over here.
Okay. Maybe in a couple years.
Yeah. There
Okay.
you go.
So right now, I'm looking at something maybe. I don't want to say a step down because it's like there's good planes in every category.
It's going to do the job. It's
Okay.
going to do the job. It's going to get you where you need to go. It's going to be 100% available to you, and you're going to thank me later for it.
Okay.
So we're talking, a Citation, a mid-Citation.
Okay. And that's made by Cessna, right?
Cessna,
That's
Textron.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, Textron.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
So that's something that you could get into, be comfortable with the cost of it, be comfortable putting gas in it, staffing it, fixing it. And it's not gonna, it's not gonna kill your pocketbook.
A brand new one?
No.
No.
It's gonna be a used one. Yeah.
You're just shooting everything down here.
I am. I am.
Why?
And again,
well, why not a new one? Why not a new one?
I mean, it's possible. I don't want to discount it.
Okay.
All depends on the financing world. So we're going to reach out to our finance people and see kind of where you are, what you can get approved for.
Okay.
And then what's comfortable.
I hear the Fed's lowering interest rates soon. We might be in luck.
You might be in luck. You might be in luck.
We'll see what we can do.
It's not going to say Falcon or Gulfstream, but it's going to get you where you want to go.
Okay.
Again, and part of our due diligence, I'm not going to try to push you into a bigger airplane or want you in a bigger airplane because we respect you and your business. And, ultimately, we would love to get you into that situation.
Is it based on the age of the aircraft or how long I would own the aircraft? Is it just based on my financial situation or is it based on other factors?
Oh, there's other factors. I mean, obviously credit ratings are going to pull in there, but definitely your business and how you're doing, how your finances are progressing.
Okay.
Is going to determine how quickly you can do that.
So let's say I get the Citation, I'm able to get to where I need to go, I build a business a little bit more, and then in a year, 2 years, 3 years?
I mean, that's kind of on you, but I would aim for that 5-year mark.
Multifamily housing is taking off, man. I'm optimistic.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's
3 years, then that's the goal.
We're gonna build apartment buildings all over Houston. It's gonna be great.
It's going to be great.
Luxury apartments, by the way.
Right.
Not these little studios. Yeah. It's going to be nice.
All right. So 3 years from now, then we look at it again. When we initially buy the first airplane, regardless of what it is, we're going to look at that and say, hey, what's the residual? Where's this going to be in 3 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
What do we think this airplane's going to resale for?
Is a Citation as much aircraft as what I can get? Or if I want to move into something like, there's got to be a middle ground, because that's a smaller jet, right?
Yeah.
A Citation.
Citations are historically smaller jets.
Okay. So it sounds like with 20 million, 2 million, clearing 2 million-ish.
About $1 million.
What am I really looking at as far as being, so Citation's basically where I'm at?
You're looking a Citation, but you're really looking in the turboprop world. Turboprop world. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You're probably a King Air.
King Air
in there.
Okay.
A Meridian.
Okay.
Or a single engine turboprop.
Those are loud, right?
Well, they're louder, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need something quiet, man.
Right. Well, you'll just wear headsets.
All right. So let's say I'm coming to you and I've got maybe twice that, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe I can start really looking into something.
I think so.
Okay.
Yep. Right in that. Yep.
And so what am I looking at there? What's my range? If I'm still same sort of mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm flying to Houston, maybe I'm flying to Miami from Chicago.
Yep.
And let's say once a week I'll take a flight, right?
Yeah.
And so it's enough that I need a jet, right? Or that there's a business case for it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And okay, let's say I'm stepping it up and I've got a few people that need to fly with me, right? So let's say I need at least 8.
Yeah.
you know, going down here, because it's like I'm going to fly clients up to Chicago every once in a while. Maybe I'll take them to that fancy restaurant that's got all the Michelin stars.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, maybe I need to take some like attorneys and accountants and things with me when I go, right?
Yeah. So it's right in that $40 million range. You're going to get. You can get an older, maybe even an older Falcon.
Okay.
Falcon 2000.
Okay.
Which would definitely fulfill that mission.
Okay.
Citation wise, maybe a larger Citation.
Yeah.
But if you want to be more conservative, you're moving down to a smaller Citation.
Yeah. I want to live large.
I know. Made it pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go.
I want to be able to charge my iPad in it.
Right. Yeah.
So
without taking away power from the jet.
Without taking away power from the jet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I right in that Falcon, Challenger 300s.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Now, are all of these going to have one thing that I'm concerned about too? If I buy something older, am I going to have to spend a lot? Am I going to have to hire Sarah Larinaga to come and redo the entire inside of my jet to make it look
It's possible.
awesome?
It's possible we might be looking at something, as far as retroing it out, making it look a little better.
And I wouldn't hate that. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Looking at that, 100,000, 150,000, we could probably do enough stuff to make it.
What about
a little more
electronics?
modern.
Those things, they got to get replaced every once in a while, right? I mean, am I going to have connectivity? Am I going to have like my Starlink or my what's the GoGo and all that
GoGo?
stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be able to get an airplane with that. I think that's pretty much just about everything out there. There's going to be some platform or Wi-Fi system.
Okay,
Yep.
so that's not even anything that I should be concerned about.
That's right.
That just comes with the territory.
For the most part.
What
and if it doesn't,
are my drawbacks going to be then?
as far as
Well, if I go with something older. Yeah.
Maintenance is going to definitely probably be our number one concern.
Is that going to take it offline? Is that going to make it where I can't? Am I going to be out of pocket?
As far as
For
like maintenance costs?
No, not costs, but like, am I not going to be able to fly because of the maintenance? Are they going to have to tear things down and build them back up?
No. Again, when we go buy the airplane, when we go to look at it, we're serious about it. We're going to take a good look at it. Mm-hmm. So year 2, we're looking at 30 days of downtime, and we'll try to put that in some type of a visible format for you to see. Based on what inspections we know are coming, how much time is that going to be? How much are you going to lose of that airplane that year due to upcoming and planned events, service events?
Okay.
The only thing we can't do, obviously, is things that happen outside of our control, things that break, or if there's an engine problem or something else that...
And it's more likely on something older. So if
just like a car or any piece of equipment.
Sure.
The older it is, same could be true with a new airplane too. If you have an airplane that just had some issues.
If I'm in that price range, is the world my oyster? Is inventory like pretty open, or
So
am I just going to have to like take what I can get?
Yeah, that fluctuates all the time.
Okay.
So sitting here today, we would be able to find something.
Okay.
Now, is that true a month from now, 2 months from now? Hard to say. It just depends. Economy changes on a whim.
Yeah.
And airplane excitement changes on a whim. So
Gotcha.
If all of a sudden people get excited about going into a Falcon 2000, then the price is going to go up, right?
Yeah.
Volume decreases, price goes up, unit price goes up.
Yeah. So you know a lot about Bombardier aircraft as well, right? So what would be a good Bombardier for me to get into with that being my mission and that being my budget?
Yeah, it's going to be the Challenger 300.
Challenger 300.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a great airplane.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty close to 1,000, if not over 1,000 of these things made.
Okay.
Low end on a Challenger 300.
Yeah.
$8 million.
Okay.
High end, $27 million.
Okay.
The latest and greatest, right? So
right.
A lot of them out there.
Okay.
But with that said, it's an in-demand airplane. It can go, I'm not quite sure, 2,700 miles roughly.
Okay.
Good speed to it. It's a great domestic airplane.
So pretty much all the way across the U.S.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
And comfort.
Yeah.
Nice cabin, stand-up cabin.
Yeah.
Just a great airplane. Great platform.
Yeah.
Along with the G280. The G280, though, was made a few years after the 300s.
Yeah.
So their costs are still kind of high. So the obvious would be a Challenger 300 to you.
Okay. Are there any aircraft you'd want me to avoid? if I'm in this range, and maybe I'm coming to you and I'm wanting something that maybe isn't quite as easy to service or maintain, or something that might not hold value as well. What am I looking out for?
Yeah. So looking at that, the Hawkers.
Okay.
Raytheon built the Hawker airplane for several years. Before that, it was made by Sidley, which was a European company. That airplane is one to kind of stay away from.
Okay.
It's kind of dropped off, and support is hard to find, and parts are hard to find. But with that said, again, our job as a broker is to find you the airplane that is the perfect fit. We know this. We know the ones to avoid. And that's true with the 300s as well. There might be a 300 out there that is just something we want to avoid, that particular airplane.
Just because of the way it was maintained, or
maybe it could be there was something that happened with that airplane.
Can't find the flight logs.
It
something
could
like
be
that.
all sorts of that, which happens.
Yeah.
And they just walk away, disappeared.
You're right.
But there's certain things we know about it, and we're not even going to talk about it.
Okay.
That isn't even going to hit your radar.
Should I come to you with things that I want, or should I just have conversations like this and just you make suggestions?
You should absolutely come to us.
So am I going out, like, once I know that I'm, that I have a mission that I need to fulfill with this, that I have a business use case, that I have money in the bank and I can do it. Am I just going out on the internet just saying, like, just literally Googling, like, jets that I want, and just coming to you and saying, hey, I like the way that this, this looks like something I would like. Do I browse? Do I just browse?
You can do that. You can start that way.
Okay.
But again, there's usually more to it, more to the story.
Sure. Maybe I've flown in something that a buddy had, right?
Yeah. Look it up, see how much it costs. Oh, wow. That's $45 million, or that's $5 million.
Sure.
That's doable. And you have a good idea, too, of what you can spend.
Yeah.
Usually.
I do now.
Yeah, well, right. But yeah, we'll start that conversation. Reach out, and if this is something you seriously want to pursue or look at doing, we want to partner with you to help you find that. We want to be cognizant and careful of who you talk to.
Right.
Because something that we've talked about, and other guests on the show have talked about, is that in the brokerage world, it's unregulated.
Right.
So make sure you're vetting who you're talking to as far as what their experience is.
Yeah.
What do they know? Who in their firm has the ability to talk to your level of what you're looking for.
And now you have, like, with an Aspen, you have, unlike some brokers out there, you guys have like a process that you go through where you vet the buyer, the seller, the aircraft, all of this stuff, and it's like by the book every step of the way.
Yep, following a checklist. Big things for us. When we get into the nitty-gritty of buying the airplane and get the letters of intent and the purchase agreement and all these documents formatted and an inspection lined up and going, we want to be sure that we hit a closing date. And that's critical, especially as the year goes on.
Okay.
Because if somebody is promised a closing date by the end of the year, and they miss that, then the tax advantages for that year are gone.
Oh, wow.
So we want to make sure, if we say, hey, we're going to close on, and this is, the ultimate.
Yeah.
We want to close on the 15th of December. It's all hands on deck. The 10th.
Sure.
If it looks like we're going to have an issue.
Yeah.
But never once have we missed a closing date due to our inabilities to make something happen. And that's all because of how we do it and the process we use.
Yeah.
So we've reached out to various different brokers and seen how they do things. And then we've reached out to finance people and employed them to build this process for us.
Nice.
So that we don't miss this.
So once I have the funds, once I have the mission, once you and I have worked together to identify the right aircraft, then the next step is going through all of that, vetting everything.
That's right.
Making sure everything is above board.
Yep.
And that once I do get an aircraft, it's going to be the right one, and there's nothing that's going to blindside me and cost me a lot of money.
Yep. As a client of ours, blindsiding and catching somebody off guard is never something we want to do, ever.
Right.
So we're going to be totally upfront about things that we know and putting you in the plane that we know is going to work.
Yeah.
And then again, following our procedures and how we do things.
Yeah.
To make sure that come closing day, it's as simple as transferring funds and signing a few documents, and welcome to your new airplane.
Nice. I think you got me sold on the Challenger 300.
I think it's a great airplane.
That might be
and
the
I've
one
flown
that
it. I know it.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful machine. And Bombardier struck a couple home runs with that airplane.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, now that we have an airplane picked out, and we know the mission, we know the budget, we got that going. The next time we visit this, I'd like to talk about the process of going through all that stuff. The things that we need to make sure are buttoned up.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that'll be the next step in this series that we're putting together.
Love it.
And we'll see where it goes from there. And that might be the last. It might be a 3-part series. I think we're kind of playing it by ear here, but I think identifying my ability to buy a jet, the jet that we need to land on for the mission, and then next going through the process and coming up with a strategy on what needs to happen. When you buy a jet, you're also going to have a plan to sell the jet too, right?
That's right.
So you got to maintain it, you got to manage it, you got to do all those things. So there's
Always
that stuff too.
it.
So we'll go over all that. But for now, I think this is a good stopping point.
Good.
In the meantime, if you want to get the conversation started, website is
AspenAeroGroup.com.
Yep. Okay. Fill out the form.
Comments, fill out the form. We'll get right back with you.
Okay. Awesome. In the meantime, like, subscribe, comment any questions that you might have about what we've discussed today, or anything that you would want us to see discuss on the next episode of Own the Jet, and we'll work together to learn what it takes to own the jet.
Awesome.
Thank you for watching Own the Jet. If you want to see more Own the Jet, make sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and leave a comment telling us what aspect of jet ownership you'd like to know more about. Own the Jet is brought to you by Aspen Aero Group, your trusted partner in private and corporate jet ownership. Learn more at aspenaerogroup.com. This has been a Savage Media production.